media presence, and how do we make sure that they have a full value chain online that ultimately builds up towards licensing and merchandise. E-commerce shop. So really designing it so that it's a multi-prong, because one of the things we discovered in our incubator for the TV series was, how do the entrepreneurs, we just assumed they've been around for 3 years and they'll just survive as they survive. And no, a lot of them struggled with how to keep business in and how to feed themselves during the process, because I can tell you now, an animated TV series takes about a decade to get on air. I call it an elephant pregnant. Yeah. It takes a very, very long time. So it is an industry for the very patient, and live action people tend to hate it. They're like, but yes, these the growth strategy that we did for KZN, and thank God they invested so much in it, because I was able to get the best brain to design it with me. And so now it's a model that is rateable. So the other provinces don't have to pay that much to get it done, because we've pretty much done the majority of the work. It's just situational analysis and designing it for the specific needs. So yes, it is once again a funding thing. But once we get machines into the libraries, these things become possible, because then we're just training them on creating campaigns for NGOs and so forth.
Okay. Shopman.
All right.
All right, good day. My name is Franz Chipape. I come from a film production company called Chipape Media Productions. Yeah, so like I have some background in film and television, writing, producing, and directing. So recently I've taken interest in animation, and when you came to your presentation there, I was like, yeah, God really is pointing me in that direction. But when you answered my colleague here, I hear you say you don't do film, and I was like, but I just want to find out from you if, because I have a film script that I've just completed.
An animated film script.
It's an animated film script, which I believe is a very, very great concept, around the Mara crossing. You know how animals have to take that journey each year in the Mara. I think it's in Kenya, and they have to cross the Mara River with crocodiles and stuff in there. So I've come up with a very great concept around that. So I just want to find out from you if you are able to give advice as to how I can bring, the film into fruition. Any advice or pointers? Would it still be necessary for me maybe to follow up with you after this session, since I heard you say you don't do film, you're only interested in TV production?
Yeah, I don't do film because the business model is not ideal unless you have a massive studio yourself and you have a lot of experience, because one, just trying to make back 100 million rands for a concept, you would have to have the best writers. And when I got a quote from a very experienced animation writer in America, it was $2 million just for the writing. So in order to pull off feature film that's going to do globally and get a return on investment, unfortunately, you cannot use medium or subpar skills. It is only the best that can work on feature film. TV series, on the other hand, you can get away with a lot. It's a small screen, a lot can be hidden. And kids are a lot more forgiving home, and they're having a good time. But when you're in a cinema, your intellect raises 20%, and you're observing it because it's so big on a whole different level. So it's a lot less forgiving. Like, you can flop in the first weekend. Look at Jock the Bushveld. He thought, oh, I'm basing it on a film that was very successful in South Africa, an animal, da da da. It flopped in the first weekend and did not make that money back. Fortunately, he had a very good licensing and merchandising campaign because the brand had existed before. And so he was in Woolworths, in all of the big stores. And so he might have broken even because of his licensing and merchandising. And so that's what I say with, a script is just an idea. There are a million of them out there. But having the team that can bring all of those skills that ensure the business of it is strong, your business model, your licensing and merchandising, etc., then it's worth doing. But if you don't have those skills, you're looking at in fact, somebody came into my incubator with a film and I made him change it to a TV series. And sometimes you think it's a film, but actually it can be done in TV series, and you can get much broader reach audience-wise with TV series. And so, yeah, I think that I would advise you, we can speak after this as well.
Is that it? Any cost
No,
to them?
we fundraise for all of our incubators. They don't have to pay a cent.
Okay. And what was the other question from online? Yeah, I think that was it. I think, Muzola, do we have any questions from online? Just, if you can just check, and then just just put the thing online to say they can just send through their questions.
But let me say that I'm in a creative cluster called, the building is called Transwerke in the Constitution Hill. In that creative cluster, we have the incubator physical space. So what we did is, of the 10 incubatees, we chose the biggest job creator and we gave him the space, because we're all about who can create jobs. Next door to our incubator is an organization called the South African SACI, South African Creative and Cultural Industries Incubator. And they give free office space, they give free training, and it's only for the digital creative industries. So they have an office here in Pretoria in Easterus, I believe, and they have one in Joburg in Braamfontein at the Con Hill. So if you want a space, I mean, the workshops they do, they're now doing a VR training through SACI. They have all sorts of interventions for digital innovators, and they have great coaches. Their program has a success rate of getting people income within 6 months. So they have a very well-designed program for entrepreneurs. It is an entrepreneur program.
Hi guys, if really you don't see this, then I don't know when. Can you have the UFC for the next speaker ready? I don't know, but my request personally, I'd definitely like to make time to come and just sit in your studio one of these days, shadow you guys, get some inspiration, see if I can bust a brainwave or two. But thank you so much. I think this was very valuable, guys, and I think she deserves another big hand. And I know animation is scary, but I think, guys, once you're used to it, you know, like, it's like TikTok or Facebook that you're not used to. Once you get used to it, you become so addicted to it. You know, it took me so long to get to TikTok. I was just a Twitter and Instagram person. And then eventually when I got to TikTok, I'm like, it's just like I should have been here earlier. And it's actually easier than these other platforms. I'm just saying that some of us, some things you can think of yourself to say, maybe you're not an animation person, but you'll be surprised. Maybe if you shadow, maybe just take one day, go to Constitution Hill. So if I'm not incorrect, Isabel, you that building behind Con Hill, right?
At the bottom, McDonald's, yeah.
Yes, you know that building, right, guys? It's got a lot of arty, very nice building. It's very welcoming, very creative. Even if you go to the studio, just take a day and explore the shops, the artwork that is there, and you'll get a lot of inspiration. So I'm going to do that for myself, and I'm very much looking forward to the next year ahead. That is not always the best. So this gives you much more longevity, and you'll see when we do the JSC presentation, just to also give you comfort, is that we do fund animation, like I said earlier. So even if you're concerned that they might not be involved in but we do fund animation as GSC and we prioritize animation. So when you go to apply the category, always look for digital and animation content if you're interested in animation, and that's where you can apply. We can apply for it. So next up, I saw that we had some of our executives here earlier on, but I'm not sure if I see them. I'll introduce them maybe in this round. But just to acknowledge, some of you come through, and I'll just do a formal acknowledgement after our next, who we love so much. We love, we grew up with, and we adore. And ever since she's just always been such a great personality, guys. For us in this industry to be like her. But please, Mamna Bita, please come forward. Mamna Bita Umrane, who is the Deputy Chair and Secretary General, who is also a member of SAGA. So please give her a warm hand as she comes to take us through. Yeah, that's nice. Would you like to stand or?
I think I'll hang on to it, yeah. Mm. I'm trying to make sure that I don't speak for too long, as Isabel was going through, so I'm putting on my timer here. All right. Good morning. My name is Namrana. I work as an actor. I work as a casting director. And I work in advocacy for women empowerment. Today, I am here on behalf of the South African Guild of Actors. How many in this room are actors? Heidi. Mac, I didn't see your hand up. There we go. The South African Guild of Actors is an organization. I'm going to take you first through the presentation. There are a couple of points that I want to touch on after that I think are critically important, both for actors and for filmmakers. And then I'll take your questions. Is that all right with everyone? Fantastic. How do I move this thing?
Or is it a PDF?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
slides.
so we'll have to Kingsley. Okay,
Hang
I
on.
think do here. Click here and then there. Okay. Take it up.
Where is Kingsley?
There. So
Okay. I love it when technology decides to play games with us.
so you see the arrow?
Yeah, I see the error. Kingsley, is there I'm dealing with,
Click on the arrow. Yeah.
all right. I don't know where your cameras are. I'm not here for the cameras. I'm here for you, so I'm going to move around. The South African Guild is the only organization representing actors in the film, television, stage, nations, space, and corporate, of course. And I mentioned because we do corporate theater as actors. It's good money, pays the bills. We do voice acting. So a lot of that is incorporated. And of course, the Guild exists to enhance actors' working conditions and benefits of a unified voice on behalf of their artists' rights. And when I say unified, it is because when we speak to government, they say, why don't you guys? And I'm like, you obviously don't know the law because actors are not allowed to unionize. Who is SAGA? South African Guild of Actors is a powerful, unified voice of and for professional actors. And I specify professional actors because there is a tendency in South Africa on fight. Yeah. So some of you have been, suffitis, right? No. Count-fight, what I'm saying is, oh, just let me in. Even I can do one of those professions, and I say things that they can do it until it's time to do it. We are looked down upon in such a degrading way. He steps into our shoes and they say, oh, now it's too much. Our job is to end. The better you are at your just seeing you are. Because if you see Nambita, then I'm not doing my job. But if you see the character, then I'm doing my job. But that also lends itself to being misunderstood, misrepresented, and ignored. That is why we need organizations like SAGA. We also promote professionalism in the performance industry. It is critically important that if you want to be taken seriously, you must take yourself seriously. So that means that you up your game in every aspect, in every possible way. We represent the legal and economic rights of professional actors. You're going to hear me say the word over and over again. Professional actors, not Count-Fight, but people who are acting for this. Even if you didn't go to college or university, but at least you're doing some training and taking it as a profession. We protect and enhance actors' working conditions, compensation, and benefits. We've seen some sets where there were mice running around in the makeup room, where in the eating area there were termites, and we've seen some things. And SAGA jumps in and speaks on your behalf. In this industry where it is divide and rule itself can be dangerous for the longevity of your career. So you need your agent, your guild to speak on your behalf. You send a little text message, pick up for you and say, no, we do not need mice running around in the makeup room. The South African Guild of Actors is run for actors by actors. So this is our exco. Volunteers, there are 9 of us. I'm an exco. My primary responsibility is membership. That means when I joined the SA Guild of Actors, I told them I'm here to colorize this space. Because a lot of it was a white organization, and I'm talking to you. We have the tendency of thinking that things that are good, professional, and elevate are not for us. That's an apartheid mentality. We're done with that now. We've been fighting, believing that we deserve better, and then when we're offered better, we say, no, it's not for us. Get that out of your head. You deserve the best. So as you can see, some of the best in the industry are here volunteering. That means unpaid, giving their time on your behalf to fight for your rights as an actor. Jack Devnaren is our chairman, and when I joined EXCO, I was like, yeah, I know, it's great, yay. Then I saw Jack at work. Then I saw his mind at work. I stand in awe of him on a day-to-day basis. Carlin Duval Smith is an Oreo, or inverted Oreo in my view. She grew up in the Eastern Cape amongst amaXhosa. Seriously, when I get emotional, I go off in isiXhosa, and she goes, Ewesis, and I'm like, how much of that did you get? She is an agent, she owns contractors, artists, she is also my agent. But she founded the Guild because she felt that we needed this. So she continues to be the National Secretary. I think some of you may recognize Uhungani from Skim Sam and other things. His dancing videos, he's amazing. Well, he handles our social media. So any kind of communication that you see on social media, him. And he still has time to run his business, go on set for 12 hours a day, his daughter, and still volunteer. Daniel Jacks is our legal team. And I mentioned Daniel because, again, so much respect for him. He's an actor. But when you, as an actor and a member of SAGA, are having legal issues, Daniel is your man. Kelly Cropman of Cropman Attorneys, who he refers to and he consults with. When you need us to go show up in court for you, Kelly. Otherwise, Dan handles all of that. And Adrian Galley, again, is another great mind. He's just he's an attorney, he's a registered attorney now. He just finished and is an absolutely amazing human being. He is a town, so we are very much national. So do you remember when I did Interrogation Room? She was right up there with me. She's still training actors. She lives in Cape Town. So she's a vice secretary in Cape Town. Jacques is our new event. So whenever we've got workshops, we've got any kind of conversations that need to be done, Jacques did what he does. We didn't realize that, we didn't know we needed him. And you know when you've got somebody in your space that when they're around, you exhale. These are the people that I'm showing to you. Lunjange is also one of the younger members of our EXCO. She is in KZN. She literally single-handedly represents us in KZN. She's alone there. But of course, she's not alone because we're all an amazing team together. Oops, I did that, didn't I? I'm not a Mac person, Mac. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this of membership because I want you to go and explore that. But of course, we've got founder members, we've got golden members, actors like myself who've been, doing it for over 40 years, but I'm not considered a golden member yet. I'm just a normal member. We've got patrons. Patrons is a very special group of people. These are people that are not actors, but want to support us and want to stand in the gap on our behalf. So you can be a patron. If you're a filmmaker, you can be a patron if you're not an actor. And they pay membership to be supportive of us and to stand in the gap for us. We've got casting directors, we've got executive producers, we've got a whole slew of varied people that stand in the gap on your behalf. Then we've got an honorary life member. This is, if Usis Mary Twala was still around, she would be an honorary life member. Or Dr. John Kani. Do you understand that sort of person? Those are our honorary life members. And the dues is just ridiculous because we are actually just grateful that they accept being part of us. All right, what does SAGA do? We run monthly workshops, and I mean monthly, and that's of course is Jacques. He does events every month. Right now, if you go onto a social, go onto Instagram, Facebook, or X, you will find that right now we are promoting a workshop. We will teach actors how to handle guns on set. We will teach actors, we'll get stunt people to teach you how to fall down a set of stairs so that you don't hurt yourself. I had to be taught how to take a bullet. I was always the people. I had to learn how to take a bullet. And it doesn't smell like, it's like, what kind of gun is firing at you? Oh, is it? There's all sorts of things. Everything is very technical and you have to learn how to do it. So at Saga Workshops, so that as a professional actor, you can show up on set ready. We host panel discussions, especially during the lockdown. We did a lot of virtual discussions, webinars, podcasts, that we wanted to make sure that our membership is fully, I started my career in Canada and I've now brought onto Saga here in South Africa, is if you're not on stage, on screen, you are in workshop. You're shuttling your tools. A lumberjack, if you are a smith, if you're not busy chopping wood, you shacks. That's why Saga promotes these workshops. So I would like to encourage you to follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. And just like, retweet, repost, it's a better way of putting it. Share, like, and what? Yeah, okay, and subscribe, yes. Because we need our voices on the shoulders of the 8 other people that I showed you here. That's why I'm able to stand tall. And I stand on the shoulders of all of the actors that have agreed to be members of the South African Guild of Actors, because they've trusted me to stand in front of you and speak on their behalf. Skills Development Portal is a new one on our website. Please just take note of the saguildofactors.org. It's a very important place for you to go, whether you're a filmmaker. Again, I told you about the legal services that we offer. So Dan needs to be kept busy. It's not like he's not busy enough. But I've got somebody who called yesterday. They've signed a contract and now they don't understand what's in that contract. And they need somebody to interpret that for them. I send them straight to Daniel. Some of you will sign a contract and how much you're getting paid, when you're getting, and how you're getting paid. And then you complain. Join Saga so that you have somewhere to go when you do problems after you've done a silly like that. And of course, our website, saguildofactors.coza. Everything is in there. And I'm hoping that if you're an actor, you're going to go on there and apply for your membership. It's only 160 Rand a month. That's your lunch on Wednesday afternoon. But that's all of the things that I've just listed. That's what you get for 160 Rand a month, plus a funeral plan. Yes, ma'am. Now, we would not be able to do half the things that we do if we did not have friends and family. And we have partnerships throughout the throughout the value chain of producing film, television, stage productions. SASFED, Isabel mentioned SASFED, and that is the South African Screen Federation. It's a critical organization because everybody is in that room. And when you've got something that you dealt with, through SASFED, it makes it a shortcut and an important one, and is a very important ally. FIA, which is the International Federation of Actors, is, during the lockdown, a lot of us did not have money, and the Department of Arts and Culture did not know how to support us. There was money sitting there. It ended up being chowed by people who had access to it because they did not know how to disperse it to actors. They don't understand how we work. They kept saying, well, if you've got a contract, then show us the contract, we'll give you that amount. We are permanent job seekers. We're constantly auditioning. How do you quantify that? They don't understand how we work. So through FIA, We were able to run workshops, we were able to support some people who were really, really struggling because they just threw money at us and we just spent it on everybody that needed it. TADA, which is Theatre and Dance Alliance, is one of our newer members. And they are based, I believe, in Cape Town, but they again cover the entire the entire country. I went to the Cradle of Humankind recently. I was taking our international guests there for a little bit of a visit, and we noticed that some of the dancers in the Lesedi Cultural Village were dancing on concrete. And you know in Dlamo where you like on concrete and then you fall on your coccyx, tailbone, on concrete. TADA can get in there, and I told them, join Saga, join TADA, and then have them deal with that for you before you crack your back and you can't even walk, let alone dance again. Writers Guild is very important because we tell their stories. So we need to be in conversation with them constantly and have access to each other. So when I go on screen and you see me in your living room telling a story, the Writers Guild of South Africa has agreed for me to do that. And if I have a problem with the writer that's on there, and I'm saying, our culture doesn't work like this, we need to fix it. And they go, oh my goodness, she's like that. But backed by the relation between Saga and the Writers Guild, that conversation is able to be a good conversation with nobody fighting and nobody losing friends. Recreate has been helping us with the bills that have been, especially the Copyright Amendment Bill. I know that Isabel mentioned that earlier, and not all of us are in agreement with everything that's on that bill, but a lot of us are just saying, the Performers Protection Amendment Bill is trying to fix a bill that was written in 1967. That was before television. The bill that governs history was written in 1967. That's the year I was. Before television. No, but streamers. It needs to be fixed. That bill has been sitting at on the president's desk for years. He refused to sign it. He sent it back to us. We went throughout the country through Recreate. They threw money at this and they said, let's go all the way around the country, educate what these bills are about. The Copyright Amendment Bill and the Performance Protection Amendment Bill. And we went throughout the entire country educating people. And when we came back, we said, oh, but agreement across the country that people want this bill to be passed. Sent it back to the president and he still didn't sign it. So now it's gone to the Constitutional Court. We've had hearings on it and we're waiting for them to tell us what next. Yeah, and you thought our lives were easy. Among our partners, the PMA. Again, you'll understand when I tell you are important. There is the Personal Managers Association. Those are your agents. Those are your managers. Those are the people that go on your behalf, that you hire. Did you hear what I said? That you hire to go and look for work on your, and you pay them in the percentage. Do you understand that relationship? They don't own you. You own them. So you don't pay them before you get a bit of what you got. Now there are agents out there who call themselves agents. There are organizations out there who call themselves agents that will charge you a certain amount of money for you to join their agents. Run in the opposite direction, get away from them. Because they're only living off money that you're paying them. You pay somebody after they've done a job. So why you pay somebody to go look for a job for you? Come on now. So we have a relationship with the PMA, and we all talk with each other on, what do actors need? When the PMA tells us, hey, our actors need education on, this, on stunt this and coach that, and we get on it as Saga and vice versa. Actor Spaces is also another platform that teaches actors. They run incredible workshops. And of course, it also is an audition space, so it doesn't hurt to be close to them. Tourism and Film KZN. Swift is one that I think we need to speak about in great detail. Swift is sisters working in film and television. It started out as just a women thing, but okay, guys, you've seen when Nambita is sitting there on under some romantic dim lights, and Vusikunene walks up and starts nuzzling her neck, and the next thing we're in the bedroom and things are heating up, and you're going, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's good to watch, isn't it? Okay, well, the characters are doing that, but the actors are human beings. And I also, when they're doing, hooking me up for sound, that this is not an erogenous zone, it's the space of a sound man. Get in there, do what you gotta do. But there are people out there who do not know boundaries. We recently had an actor on set, one of our members, where an actor has seen it was supposed to be simulated sexual assault. He was supposed to pretend to be raping her. And they agreed with a Swift person, which is now an intimacy coordinator, who tells you how to touch. Is it okay to touch here? Are you comfortable with this? Are you comfortable with that? How far can I go? I'm supposed to hold you. Which way is it okay for you? We rehearse it, it's a dance, and then when the cameras roll, we do exactly what we rehearsed. Well, this young man decided that he's gonna make it more realistic. And he started thrusting upon her. And of course she went, oh, what are you doing? We stand in the gap when things like that happen. Men, guys, I'm gonna say this, but men, please do not be offended. An erection is a physiological reaction. It's not something it's not always sexual. It's not always sexual. So we're sitting here, I'm in my negligee, you are in your boxers, and we're doing this scene, and after a while, there's going to be some visible, whatever you want to call it. But with an intimacy coordinator, somebody is there to make sure that you don't feel compromised and I don't feel compromised. And the environment remains professional. It is critical in that. And when they came in and started being allowed on our sets, completely, the less sexual harassment cases on set. Because now people can just do their job and go home. It's not about you and me, it's about our characters. Hey, umdu ale laptop. One of the biggest things at Saga that we want to make sure and communicate to our actors is that you're not alone. Our industry is very much about divide and rule. If you guys don't get along, I've got a better chance of, getting more value for my money. But it's so soul destroying, isn't it? Yeah. It hurts you deep down. Because as actors, we work with our souls. It's easy to access that space as to get hurt. So we need to be protected. So we at Saga make sure that you don't. So Saga can assist the member at any point, whether an actor has an agent or not. And we say that because some professional actors are without agents. Not because they're not good actors. Some have just decided I'm going to go with myself, and some actors just haven't made it to the point where they can afford an agent. Or maybe your resume is not long enough that agents are interested. All part of the journey. It's okay. Doesn't make you a bad person. So Saga helps you with the audition briefs, the self-tapes, and on-set safety. How many people have fallen down a set of stairs? You know, sometimes the director thinks stairs is not a big deal. But keep in mind, when you walk down the stairs, you look down, don't you? But if I'm walking down the stairs and you're watching me and I'm doing this, and in the camera, then I'm not doing my job. So walking down the stairs is actually because I can't look down. I have to trust that I'm going to be okay. And if there's some, oh, pardon me, I almost spoke French there for a moment. Gentlemen who left cables in the way. As I'm going down this and I trip, I fall, break my teeth, I crack my jaw. Who's paying for that? Not the guy who left the cable, not the director who said I must walk down the stairs. Now I have to go call Dan and say, hey, they just cracked my face. As actors, we have the tendency to want to give 100% and then some. We'll give you our blood. Saga stands in the gap so that you don't bleed. You're there to work for a living. I don't know if you heard me. You're working for a living. So you gotta have a life after you finish there. At the end of that day, you gotta live. So you can't leave your blood here. So if that cable is still standing here, that's why they call me a diva. I'm telling you now. I'm not gonna rehearse with the cable here. I'm gonna stand back and I say, I'm just gonna wait for this gentleman here to finish doing his job, then I can do my job. I'm about to do a stunt. All of those protections, I mean, I got the label before I joined Saga. By the time I joined Saga, I was already called a diva. So I was like, okay, well, I'll wear it then. But how many people have fallen down the stairs because the cable was behind? Or the person who was supposed to wipe the water said, no, I'll do it, I'll get to it. And then you are slipping on a drop of water on the stairs. Because again, you're not looking at the stairs to, sidestep that water. You are trusting everybody that said that they are doing their job. But not everybody there is there for you. Saga is. That's why your safety is so important to us. Oh, and how many times have we heard about late payments? Did somebody say pound for pound? How many times did people have Christmas without their paychecks while the producers, filmmakers are out on vacation? We as actors are viewed as at the bottom of the totem pole. You know what a totem pole is, right? The value chain. It's like you're the last person when they create the budget, how much you spend on this and that, and then, oh yeah, we need to get actors as well. But guess what? Do that film without me, let's see how that works. How important am I now? Yet when I show up on set, I have nowhere to sit. But when the camera rolls, you expect me to look fresh. When I show up on set, I have nowhere to change. But when that camera rolls, I must look like I have dignity. But you try as soon as I showed up on set. Saga will stand up for you. It's so important. I meant to mention that we have actually one that hasn't made it to list because it is one of the newest members in our strategic party. That is the Gauteng Film Commission. Give them a big hand, you guys. They're not mandate actors, but they recognize that there is no film without an actor. And you as a filmmaker need to understand that as well. If you have no respect for the actor, you have no respect for your work, because we are the face of your work. Do you understand that? Yes. You're probably wondering, as a filmmaker's conversation, what are actors doing standing here in front of you? I asked myself that question before as well. And after a long conversation with Mac and some of my team members in the Exco, I realized that it's important that I stand here and have this conversation with you. With the work I started this in a divide and rule environment. How many times have they said, Jonga, listen, I'm gonna give you lobster for lunch, but don't tell nobody, okay? You are so special, you deserve lobster for lunch. Don't tell anybody here. I'm gonna give you just 12 hours on set, and then you can go home, and then tomorrow you can start later. Don't tell anybody though. Now you start to think that you're important. They're giving you things that you are deserving of and making them sound like they're special so that you can feel more important than your fellow actors. And what happens to that? When they treat us badly, you, being Nambita, is gonna go, now I'll just go talk to management and get myself a chair. But for everybody. But they're giving me a chair, treating me like to you. The divide and rule is real.
Okay.
My phone telling me it's about time. The divide and rule is what is dangerous, because I can't share with you that they're paying me 100 Rand for the day and the same level of work. It's important that we're able to talk to each other, and that's why, again, the relationship with the management association is so critically important. I'm almost done.
A hand, guys.
A hand. I told you I had a couple. It is so important. Do you remember I mentioned that we are a guild, not a union? A lot of the people in the Department of Sports and Culture, the entire Department of Employment and Labor, we yelled at them a couple of months ago, do not understand that the contracts that we sign show us. So we are not, what the heck? Yeah, so my voice just came up. We are not allowed to unionize as actors. That means that we do not have collective bargaining. We can't talk to each other about how much we earn and what we do about that if our rates are not up to par. When we did, I don't know if you recall, there was Intertalent that would say these are the rates for voiceovers, the rates for this, so that everybody can some kind of standard. So the producers out there took us to the competition commission and said that it's called collusion. So we can't set rates as the industry. We fought it along with the PMA. Saga stood there and we paid thousands upon thousands of rand to protect you. We won. So for the next 5, thank you very much. Yes, absolutely. So for the next 5 years, the Competition Commission wants to see how we handle this freedom of being able to rates and find a way to standardize. Can you imagine being in the industry for 20 minutes and somebody who's been in the industry for 20 years are getting them where? Where else in the world? If you're a teller at a bank, they ask how many years and they pay you according to your experience. Not here. We need to regulate this industry. That's why we need those bills to be signed. Collective bargaining, the right to agree with each other on what it is that we want. And then bring us to management, production, or whomever. We do not have that right because we are under contract law. If you have seen the SABC contract, producers, you know this and you love this, but we are oppressed by it. At the end of and I call it the SABC contract because a lot of production companies use the same contract, even if they're going to, with other production or other broadcasters. Thank you very much. At the bottom, at the end of that contract, after reams of pages, it says that I am a permanent freelancer. So I'm on generations for 15 years, but I'm not an employee. That means I don't have UIF, I don't have insurance, I'm not able to get a bank loan, cannot buy a house, I cannot buy a car. I could be making 70,000 rand a month. And I make this example deliberately. My housekeeper who I'm paying, let's just say for argument's sake, 5,000 rand a month, can get a bank loan. But me who is paying that salary do not qualify because I am not an employee. I'm not employed. Under the contract law, we are with the boot on our neck. And the amendment bill and the Performance Protection Amendment Bill are just us trying to remove that boot of neck. We have a need for self-determination, and it took me a while to get this my head wrapped around this. What does self-determination mean? It doesn't sound English, but it actually is. Which other industry do you ever see children working? Ding! Our industry. Babies are working in the film industry. I have a niece and nephew who, Shekinah is now just turned 18. She's been working since she was 3 years old. Fortunately, she's in Canada, so she's protected. Here is a different story. That baby is not protected because that producer wants to make money and the president does not want to sign the bill. Who am I as an actor? Let me tell you who I am. Your mother has an operation tomorrow morning at the hospital. The doctor that is performing that operation is stressed today. He goes home, turns on the television, and says, Nambita, stress away. So that when I go and operate on Victor's mother tomorrow, I am focused. You just had a traffic ticket that maybe complicated in somebody getting injured. That attorney is defending you tomorrow. He had another case yesterday, and he's sitting in front of his television set and saying, Nambita, take my stress away so that I can protect Sipho tomorrow and defend him fully. That's who I am. And any actor in this room, that's who you are. Take yourself seriously so that you can be taken seriously. And any filmmaker in this room, If you don't get that, you're in the wrong business. Thank you very much for your time. Are there any questions?
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions. All right, I'm all yours. You have a question?
Okay, good day everyone. My name is Nomsa Mjali. I'm your host at Scandi FM. It's a local radio station. Kakhulu for coming here, for giving us this opportunity and giving us information actually. So my question is, Saga, do you cover only actors or everyone in an artist industry is welcomed? And then I heard you saying there's a funeral cover day. So if I decide to take Saga today, does it cover my family as well? Thank you.
Thank you, Sissy. Just want to make sure I write down your questions because one of my brain cells might not be in operation at the time. It's called the South African Guild of Actors. But as actors, we are all over the place. It could be a voice actor, you could be an actor in a musical, you could be Brits. As long as you're working as an actor, professional actor, we'll cover you. We don't cover producers. I haven't done radio because that's a completely different space altogether. I am hoping that at some stage you might come to the good side. If you have that funeral cover and you're a member in good standing and something happens, absolutely you are covered, you're protected. When you sign up for the funeral cover, you're asked, who are your beneficiaries? Nominate however many people you want to nominate. And I think after a certain number, there is a sliding scale. But for the basic, it's 160 Rand to cover your legal and the funeral cover.
Yeah. Sawubona Nkosazana. Yeah. Ngiyajabula kakhulu ukubona ngamehlo wenyama namhlanje.
Eyes of meat.
Yes. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi ngishilo ukuthi my name is Joel Mxolisi Mayepu. The first presenter ngiyangambuza i-question yama royalty. Manje, I didn't quite hear you specifying or emphasizing Leo part. Maybe I was sleeping on duty that time. So if you did, yes. So I want to also ask, Uguti, Isakale, is it a full company for profit or is it an NPC of some sort? And if it's a full company for profit, either way, so it should comply to labor laws. And if so, if one becomes a member, are there also benefits? I've heard you talking about Ugowa whilst we are busy doing film.
Allow me to cut you off.
Please.
It's an NPO, it's a not-for-profit organization. So you can ask the rest of your question. We're all volunteers and it's not-for-profit.
Okay, yes. If it's like that, still so they are not employees. As members, we don't become employees, we just become members. But those who are part of the NPO are the ones that are employees,
No.
is my question.
Thank you very much for your question, Bonkolisi. When you are a member of a union, per se, if you're a member of NUMSA, you are not employed by NUMSA. When I mentioned the employment of actors being regarded as an employee, is an actor working in any kind of production. We are not employees. We fall under the contract law, which is why we are not protected by the Department of Employment and Labor. I'm going to answer now. Did I satisfy you? Cool. I'm going to answer you now the royalties question. And I'm sorry that I was trying to get through so much. And I skipped one of the important things here. The royalties are created this way. That, do you guys, can you sit, Jamal, please?
Please tell them, because they've asked me to.
Okay, but you're standing, so I can't see the people I'm talking to. I will. Do you guys remember when I did Beyond Borders, the film? Yes, amazing, beautiful film. The trailer, I was in the trailer as well. I'm sitting in a truck, driving a truck, and Angelina Jolie is sitting next to me. Do you remember that? Okay, beautiful. So when Beyond Borders, so I'm sitting next to Angelina Jolie, we're doing the same scene. We're not paid the same, that's why I negotiated my own contract. When that movie plays anywhere in the world, Angelina Jolie gets paid. That's called royalties. I don't. I just get compliments. That's why the Copyright Amendment Bill needs to be in place so that that rule can affect me as well, that I can be paid. Oh, Henry, every year you watch Shaka Zulu, do you not? Let me give you an even sillier example. You watch Sarafina every year in June, don't we? And you see Whoopi Goldberg playing this South African teacher that Baby Tele did an amazing job on. You've seen that? And there's Leleti Kumalo right there, who was the star of the whole thing. Well, every time Sarafina plays, which is every year, Whoopi Goldberg gets paid. Leleti does not, because she does not get royalties. Whoopi Goldberg does on the same exact film. The Copyright Amendment Bill, the Performers Protection Amendment Bill would change all of that, but our president refuses to sign those bills. That's where we stand.
Thank you so much. I know there's many hands. I've just been nudged. I think it's seen the nudging happening. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mama. That was great and informative. I'm not going to waste any more time because I know that everyone has been very eager for the compliance, and finally our coordinating who is going to take us through compliance awareness is finally here. Are you ready to start?
Yes, yes.
Okay, please give her a hand, Sebastian Kalani. Thank you.
Can we have the mic checked out? Anyway,
I think maybe that way.
okay, let me help you. Okay, but you can start.
Okay. Great stuff. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tsepang Khalane. I am the person you've probably been speaking to over email. I'm also the current acting special projects coordinator. So I have two groups of people here today. I'm just going to know there are some people online and the live people. So yeah, just assist me, coordinating this stuff. My main purpose really is to speak to compliance requirements. In this presentation, I think I want to make it a lot more intentional in that I'm not going to stand here and tell you guys what an ID is. I think we all know that. But just to give you the key things that the GFC is looking at when we do request this stuff, so you understand why a lot of the applications get rejected the way that they do. So I think to start with, maybe let's go through the process of application, simply because we get this question a lot about how to apply for the GFC's funding. We have 2 annual call for submissions and this will usually happen in April and then again in November. The way that we run these calls for submissions is that you will submit via the GFC's website. You'll go to the website, there's an industry tab that speaks to industry development. You'll open that, you'll go to the application process, and it will open a form that is online. So there are no physical forms. You do not submit via email unless stated that you submit via email. So everything will be done on this specific system. And what will happen is that you'll have an opportunity to submit all your documents, and once the call closes, we will go through what GFC will refer to as the shortlisting process. Now, this is where a lot of applications are lost, and that is simply because perhaps you missed a compliance requirement, perhaps your document was expired. There are a lot of issues that happen during that process. And then from then onwards, we will move to the quality assurance round. We will do the same thing that shortlisting was doing, but they sort of just made sure that no one was disqualified unfairly or no one was let through incorrectly. Once that is done, we will then have an audit. Now, the audit is a super strict part, and that's why a lot of people will feel that the process is stringent. The audit does exactly what an auditor will do. If you asked for 3 months, they will say this is not 3 months, disqualified. Once that is done, we will then move on to the adjudication phase, which is where your project finally sits before the judges. So if for whatever reason you get disqualified between the first 3 rounds, understand that your application does not make it to sit before the judges. And then once the judges are done, they will recommend, the highest scoring applicants. And a lot of the times you'll see the GFC call for application comes with a poster, and then on one side you have categories, and then towards the far right, you have a little bracket that has a number in it. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, it could be 1 also. That means those are the number of people we are looking to support during the call. So once the judges are done looking through your applications, they will recommend the top 2 or the top 1 person. So that's in a nutshell how the process works. It becomes very important for the person applying to read through the GFC's funding guideline, because this not only tells you what we're looking at when we go through your documents, but it also tells you how the adjudicators are going to score you. So they'll tell you that this is the stuff that we're going to look for, or they'll tell you that you must have a distribution and market. So we try and give you all the information beforehand so that you can kind of structure your applications in such a way that they can perform the best. So some of the compliance documents that we'll look for, we start with the certified ID. Obviously, they'll state upfront that it must be within 3 months. Some of the things that are usually an issue with this is that the ID is not within 3 months, a clear disqualification, because
that requirement has been stated. But another one of the things that comes up a lot is that a lot of the IDs are modified. So if you put your date via the laptop, I can tell, we can see it. So you get disqualified for that type of thing. And then the tax clearance certificate, a lot of people will submit a notice of registration. It's not what we're looking for. A lot of people will also submit a pay-as-you-earn type of certificate. It's also not what we're looking for. We are looking only for the tax clearance certificate that comes with your company details and it comes with a PIN. Sometimes the PIN would have also, we can't use it, so you get disqualified. You've submitted a PIN that has expired before the process even concludes. But if for whatever reason your PIN expires while we're in the process, because the process does take a long time, but if your PIN expires while we're in the process, a lot of the times you'll see that the GFC will call you and say, hey, your PIN expired while I don't want to inconvenience you, so please send me a new. That's how that works. And then we move on to the triple PE certificate or affidavit. This is clear cut. It must also be within the valid 12 months. And then if you get an affidavit, it's a very specific form that comes from, I believe, the police station. Sometimes applicants will submit an actual sworn. That's not what we're looking for because it doesn't have the details that we're going through. And then straightforward, the company CIPC. This we use simply to make sure that the company is in operation and it is also in. So your CIPC will tell us that whatever region of Gauteng that you come from. We do not support at this stage companies that lie outside of Gauteng. I mean, it's in our name. So that's also pretty straightforward. And then the CSD registration report is another one that becomes very problematic for some of our applicants, simply because we get reports that are not the registration report. So sometimes you'll submit a compliance report. That's not what we're looking for. Sometimes we'll also get that. It looks almost like a process to register. So it's like a white paper and it says CSD, but a bunch of steps on it. That's also not what we're looking for. The CSD report is a green type of dot with gray, and then at the top it says CSD registration report. That's the exact thing that we're looking for. And this is just so that we can conduct business with you. There's not anything deep we look at. We just need it so that we can conduct business with the beneficiary. The bank confirmation letter within 3 months as well. The SPD form is also a bit of a tricky one because there have been 2 different types of SPD forms. And a lot of the times the applicants will use an SPD form that is outdated, not used by the state at all. So if you give it to me at GFC, I also can't use it. So what we've done now is that we've linked the actual document alongside you submitting an application. So always check that it's the one that's on the link and not an old version of the SPDs because we don't use those anymore. And then the proof of address, I believe is the last document that we ask. I think there's a lot of unsureness around the document because people will then submit personal proof of address. So that's another document that you get disqualified for because I'm asking where surprises is. Oftentimes, because we are businesses and creators, we tend to operate from the same space that we live. So now we've made provision that you're able to submit and go and say, hi, I'm confirming that I work at the same place that I live. And in that case, you will attach both the affidavit and the proof so that we're able to verify that issue. And yeah, this is just all the documents that we request in this process. Any questions?
Guys, this is your chance, so you can take your time here, but hopefully by 1,
distributor, they couldn't give me a letter for distributing my film. But because of I took it international and it got selected international, they come back and running and say, "Becky, can we distribute your film because of it made international?"
Yeah.
So sometimes it becomes a little bit tricky and supposed to be submitting our distributors stuff. So I just wanted to understand that part. If I have a same thing that I'm going to send my film international, and I know once it does great outside, I'm going to become running. Does that work for you?
I don't think it's about whether it works for me. It's just about whether it works for the process. Because if you're applying for a category where the target is only 2, the reality is that there could be 100 and something people who apply in that category, and they have the stuff now. So they're saying that, oh, I've got my letter and everything right now. Here it is. They kind of submit it with their application. And I only have the money to support 2 of these people, and I have to support 2 of the best producing people. It's going to be the 2 people who have this stuff now. And then, of course, when you come back from ABFF and stuff, and you have your plans, and you have people who have committed and they're on board, apply again, because now you have all the information. That's the nature of this, is that you're competing with a lot of other people who have stuff right now, and that's why they score better than what your project would score.
Actually, I'm not that. So if I might ask,
This is the last one.
the last one.
Yeah.
So my thing is, yes, I understand. Maybe some. It's a beautiful. I don't have a distributor, but the project itself, it's a beautiful project. It's something that can make international. It's something that can put South Africa on the map. How do we work on that one? Because if it's not easy to get a distributor, that's what I'm going to say to you.
Okay. Yes, I agree. It's a beautiful project and all of that. You're supposed to think it's beautiful. It's your project, you know? So, yeah. So I think what we've done now in the new strategy, because the reality is that not everyone's going to get a distributor and stuff for their project. But what we've done now is that we have introduced a new target that allows us to partner with distributors, where we can say that this is GFC supported content. Can you find a space for it in our market? Because going the funding route is not always.
I can't hear you.
It's off, my darling.
Can you repeat what you just said?
Okay, let's wait. Can we technical assistance, please?
Okay, now it's on, I guess. Lost my train of thought. So now we've partnered with distributors who can assist us with getting GFC content that doesn't get funded via, because on that mainstream channel, you're distributors who already sorted. And another thing that becomes very problematic is that when you're pitching to the GFC and like its cases, you look at what's the GFC's priorities, you know? So when you complete the application form, you're like, yes, I understand the GFC's strategic priorities. You've got to understand that that's what I'm looking for when I go through your application. I'm not honestly looking at the beauty of it. I will never see it the way you do. I'm looking for whether your project aligns with my priorities. See them next year. That we've introduced a distribution strategy that GFC platform to sort of come up with a viable plan for the project, then you can come back and then I'll give you the funds to do the production and stuff like that. There was a hand over here that.
The numbers, please.
Okay, so one gentleman, yes, 2, 3. Yeah, that's what I see. And then 2.
I've been introducing myself. Police. Yeah, we have a lot of young people who have degrees and PhDs, and when they look for jobs, they are told they must have a 5-year experience, and that disqualifies them for a job. And I also feel like this compliance works like that, because if someone has a company that is only 4 months old and she or he wants to be part of this, then that person is disqualified because she or he doesn't have your annual financial statements, your tax and whatnot. They get disqualified. How do you then support those people who are still just new in the industry, so they cannot be disqualified like our young people who don't get jobs because they don't have experience?
Okay, thank you. See, the thing is, this is an industry that I believe we're all trying to build, right? So I think a lot of times we've been told that the film industry is not viable, or see the career you're going into and stuff like that. And the only way that we can convince, quote unquote, convince anybody that the film industry is a viable business or it is a viable industry is to have measures in place. Because as a commission, if you're going to be giving out grant funding, you want to track how well your grant funded within the industry for many reasons, so that I'm able to motivate the viability of the industry, but also so that I'm also able to lobby for extra budget to support your projects. The only way that I can do that is if I'm giving this money to a company whose spend I can track and whose activity within the industry I can track. I can't give money to just an individual because it becomes very difficult to track that person. So the best thing to do if you are a startup entity would be to, you're probably not going to like this one, but it would be to partner with a bigger entity that has the stuff already going, the type to partner with you. And that way they have all of these documents sorted out and you guys work out the terms of your relationship. But other than that, in an individual capacity, what we've also done this time is that we've introduced an incubation program, which is a multi-year program that sort of houses emerging filmmakers who don't have the business funds, but they really need to gather the skill to run their own production companies. So that's a new target that GFC has introduced, where we will now be partnering with bigger production houses to sort of house the incubators and teach them how to run this as a company and how to run it as a film project. You know, so the reality of the situation is that you need to be an established company. But we're not just saying if you're not an established company, we're not interested, because we have opened the door to you and said, if you haven't started yet, then we can put you through an incubation program that makes sure that you're ready.
Thanks, Will.
Hello everyone. Specifically, I just want clarity on the proof of residence. Ne?
Mm-hmm.
So you've mentioned that we should go to the police station and do affidavit. Do you also take the one from the councillor's office, that proof of residence, and attach it with the bank statement? Or what should we do? Just want clarity on that. Thank you.
So with your proof of residence, you would use whatever it was that you were going to use as your initial proof of residence. It could be your municipal bill, your water and lights. You were going to use that as your personal name. And then you go to the station in your affidavit, then it's that my company with registration number XYZ runs from this place. And then you'll sort of make them and then you'll submit it that way, because then you're telling me that I am the director of this is where I stay, and it is also where the company operates from.
Okay, thank you.
Number 3.
The way it was here. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Wabile Zulu. I am the founder and director of Wabi Pro, a production house and creative content creation agency. So my question is, how can we present financial projections for our services that aligns with GFC's expectations, especially if we haven't secured major clients yet, which adds on to his question, not as an individual, but as a corporate organization.
So just to get your question clear, you're asking how would you present your financial plan if you don't have other financiers on your project? Okay. So again, we're very clear upfront that this funding has an allocation of 150,000 Rand. And a lot of the times, you'll get a letter that indicates that we were unable to fund your project because it requires a budget that is far out of what it is that I'm able to give you. Now, the reason why that happens is because I've already told you upfront, I can only give you 150,000 Rand. Now, if you come and your financial plan is 1 million, I'm already not gonna give you the funding because number one, the project isn't gonna move. If I'm giving you 150,000 Rand and you need 1 million, the project isn't going to move. So I'm cognizant of the fact that even if I give you this money, it's not going to move because you haven't yet indicated that you are the financiers. And then I'm expecting you to deliver a project by the 20th of March. It's a problem for you because I've given you this money and there's nothing you can do with it. So a lot of the time, the reality is that you need to stay within the budget that is stated. I will tell you that I have 350 for this. You'll say, cool. And structure your that. Otherwise, you do need to have other sponsors on board because we are essentially the bridge that closes the smaller costs that the production has. We're not, at this, we're not yet financially to cover the cost of the entire film.
Hi. Assessing scripts for various funding bodies, and what I realize is filmmakers don't know what a finance plan is. What's submitted is not what a finance plan is, and maybe a workshop needs to be done on finance plan, but it is fairly simple. It's really showing the potential funder that this is the development cost, so you have line items for your development, and this is what development's going to cost. NFEF is going to pay 250,000. Whatever you check what NFEF's criteria is, whether it's a short film, a feature film, animation, etc., you put that amount. GFC is coming in at the 150. You're going to get shortfall funding from NEF maybe. Although NEF, you would rather put that into your production because they're a gap financier, not a development financier. So you want to look at what are all the options you have available. Maybe it's CEDA, maybe it's DTI. They've got those various funds for entrepreneurs. So whatever it is, wherever you go, the funder that you have thought through how you're going to cover the shortfall. So now you've got your development. On the same page, underneath that is your production, because the funder also wants to know that even if they're funding in the development component, you've thought through and researched how you're going to fund the production. So then you're putting in the IDC, the DTI rebate at 20% or 50%, depending on what your key crew are. And once you've listed all of your potential funders, it has to come up to the amount of the production. So that's your development and your production. Below that, you then have your recoupment chart. So recoupment chart shows the funder that you've thought through the entire value chain of your finance plan. In there, you're going to have, I'm going to get Africa XP to distribute across English Africa. I'm going to get Gully to distribute across Francophone Africa. But always keep in mind that you've got to have a line item for French translations. Oh, AI can do that very cheaply now and very quickly for all the big languages. I'm trying to think of the big distributors. Maybe it's Helen Kun, what's the company called? Indigenous Films. Maybe you've got to deal with SABC, etc. And even if you don't have the deal with SABC, but you want them because their footprint is the biggest, you're putting them on there. Then you're putting the amounts of what those territories could bring back for you. I'm going to say this even though I shouldn't. It can be a thumbs up because getting those figures can be very difficult. But because you're just showing the funder that you have thought through the full business model in terms of how you're going to get that return on investment. Because we have to move away from an industry that thinks that film is just some kind of NGO where you're just making films for the sake of films and you don't have to show a return on investment. You need to start learning the business of how this works and how you're going, because when you get that return on investment, guess what? Investors are more likely to come and invest in your films going forward. Yeah. So that finance plan is not only important for the funder, because it gives them confidence that you've thought through the entire business of that project, but it's important for yourself because you've done the research of all of that and you know where you're going to take your film and how you're going to fill that full production budget.
Good day again, Franz Chipape. Yeah, so like I've been on the portal, né? Mm-hmm. So with the BEE thing, like there's a place where you're supposed to show the percentage maybe of youth ownership. That's fine. The percentage of disabled people ownership. But when it comes to the place where you're supposed to show the percentage for it says the gender, né? And then on the side it says preference will be given to companies with 40% or more of female ownership. So I don't know if anyone has seen this. The challenge now becomes you can only put in a number there. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if the number, like my company, for an example, it has a 60% female ownership, 40% male ownership. So how do we work around that? Because I can only put in just 60 or 100 or anything like that. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So that's the challenge that I saw on the system.
Okay. I just want to know, what else would you want to put in that?
Like Akiri, like it's like I'm supposed to put in like female, 60% female, 40% male. So I can only put in a number there.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get you.
Sure.
The reason why that is the case is because the form tells you, I want to know what your female ownership is. That's why you can only put a number. I don't want to know anything else. Just tell me what your female ownership is. And therefore you put 40 or 60 or whatever.
It only says gender.
I feel like on the side it has 40%. Yes.
Fine, I'm here now.
Yes. Okay, can I take my virtual hands?
Yeah. Are we done?
Yeah.
I'm just checking the one closing now.
Okay, I'm gonna go in this order. DB, you're gonna go first, Tepo second, Fabian third, and the last question will be from Wendy. Ngumi, I note your question as well, so I'm gonna take that one fifth. DB, you can go.
Cool. Hi, Tafang and everyone else. Not sure if people can hear me in there, but I have a quick one. I want to find out with the proof of the address, is CIPC document valid?
Okay, this one is very easy. No, it's not valid because the CIPC address is the address that I'm asking you to prove. So if I'm asking you to prove the address that's on this document, you can't give me that document to prove that that's the address. So I need a different type of document that will correlate to the address that's on your CIPC, which would be a municipal bill, it could be a letter from the councillor, it could be a data statement that comes to the company, anything that's addressed to the company.
Okay, got you. So not even a bank statement?
The bank statement doesn't necessarily work because I've already requested it earlier in the document. So anything that I've requested before, so it's the bank, yeah, the letter of confirmation and the tax clearance certificate. I'm trying to validate all of those documents, so you can't give them back to me as proof, quote unquote.
Okay, got you. Thanks, Stefan. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Tepo. Hello. Okay, I think we'll come back to Tepo.
Hi everyone.
Hi. Wendy, we can't hear you. Okay, I'm gonna take Fabian next.
Hi, Stefan. Good afternoon, everyone.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fabian, go ahead.
Thanks for hosting this. I have a couple of questions. The first pertains to the CSD document. I have a small problem that I'm trying to work out with the CSD support team. That's basically to regain access to my CSD profile. To my previous old number when I registered the being linked to that, and I can get access to the account. So I'm working on solving that. The second most important question, I suppose the first one wasn't really a question, it was a statement. The second question is, my company is registered in Johannesburg, but the main legs of the production is in the Western Cape and in Northern Italy. The pre-production, development costs, and post-production will all be in Gauteng. Do I qualify under these conditions?
Okay, so I think you stated that your company is registered in Gauteng, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you do qualify, and all you would need to do then is just to state which parts of your production are going to be done in Gauteng. No limitations to you moving around and shooting in the Western Cape or in Italy, or wherever it is that you would like to shoot truly. There just needs to be an indication that this is my company, it's registered here, and I've got all the documents to indicate that. And as part of your project proposal, that's where you would indicate that this part of the production is to be shot somewhere else, and it doesn't really affect your application much. I think what is to it really assists your application, because you do have other areas that you're going to engage while you're producing this thing. So as long as your company is Gauteng, that shouldn't be a problem.
Thank you. And with regard to the CSD, should I not be able to fix this by the 26th? Is there, I don't know, letter of some state in terms of that profile?
Yeah, it's an indication of your challenge while you're acting with CSD. So it's not going to be enough for you to just attach a letter and say, hey, I'm having CSD issues. Try as much as you can to insert any correspondence from CSD themselves that says, hey, we're working on this issue. Anything that kind of shows us that you've tried to resolve this matter, it was done on this day, and it will be sorted out by whenever it's to be sorted out. And then they'll kind of recognize that you don't have a CSD report, but there is clear proof or clear evidence that this person doesn't have a CSD issue, and it shouldn't affect your application.
Thank you. I do have an account with the CSD. I've been corresponding with them since Monday, and haven't been able to sort this out yet. But I'll proceed.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Okay. Nope. We have one more hand. Brazen Black.
I wanted to ask, what are the timelines of the cycle? This would help us very big to also establish the production schedule, what we take for when it included next year in the first quarter or what? Thank you.
I guess you're asking me what are the timelines for delivery of a project that gets funded?
Maybe they can type.
Yes. Okay, cool. Timelines are that you must have a delivered project by the 20th of March, 2026. Production.
Okay, thank you. And when do we end feedback?
From closure of the core, you would have received a notification that whether you have passed compliance or that you've passed compliance. So let's say in about 30 days, if you don't have a notification that says you have passed the compliance round, application was unsuccessful due to compliance reasons. Okay, great. Where?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I asked about the address. Sorry to interject. My network just went a little bit hazy when you were to be attached. Should you go the sworn affidavit route for the address? So you basically need to just state in the affidavit, I'm the director of this company. I work from home, and then what needs to go with that affidavit?
It's an actual address to. That's addressed to.
Okay. In which case, a bank statement would suffice.
Try something that's not a bank statement, like a water bill or just a bill.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, last hand I will be taking Wendy. I saw your question in the chat about whether you can attach a TCC. I said no because it is one of the documents that I'm trying to verify. Wendy.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. My name is Wendy Mlangi. I'm the founder of Intermediate Film Productions. So I have, I think, a problem here. So with my company documents. So my company was registered in Joburg, and really that's where I'm operating and things like that. But when COVID hit, forward rent and things like that, so I had no choice but to just move to my previous place in Durban. So that's where I was for the longest time, just trying to make ends meet. And so while I was in Durban, so I tried to pursue the filming, other things, the other factors, making as as creators, life and just get so hard. So now I had a problem in Durban because that I had my address was my company was at the address of being the Joburg address. So I changed it, thinking which I can also change it back when I moved back to Joburg, as I came back to being to Joburg in 2023, because that's where I'm operating, and that's where I am. But now I still have the document that says the company document that has the Joburg address, but the CSD, my CSD thing has been the KZN address when I was busy in KZN. So I don't know what to do, but I do have the proof of address I think that for my night, for my rent, the light bill and things like that, that says, I think, so I don't know what to do with that.
Okay. Some of these issues are CSD issues. I don't with CSD themselves to see whether they can assist you. I know their process usually takes about 21 to rectify anything that's mismatching on your CSD. But in this case, I can't allow you to submit anything else because I might know, I'm standing here, I'm listening to you, I might know that there's a reason why there's this mismatch, but I'm not the person that sits with your application. So the best thing honestly to do is to contact CSD within their 21-day period and try to rectify this specific issue. The only leeway that you might be able to get is that you should be able to indicate by the 26th of October, if you're planning on applying now, you should be able to indicate that I have attempted to solve the issue. Because if you just attach a CSD, it kind of says nothing to me that you've tried to resolve the issue. So go ahead, attach the CSD, but also attempt to resolve this and attach that as well to show that you are in the process of amending these details so that your CIPC and your CSD document accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Violet, I'm going to answer your question quickly. May I attach a bank statement from a different bank from the bankation letter that, no, don't attach a bank statement as a proof of address. Go for anything that looks like a bill, a residential letter, a letter from your counselor, not bank statements. Don't do things that are going to be tricky. Yeah, and that is it. Thank you.
That's fine.
Great, thanks, Stefan. I just wanted to, before we move to closure, to just add on. Okay, to just add on the, I think it's on the budget. There was a question that came about the budget. What is key to highlight is that as much as you'll be getting sponsorship or additional budget from other sources, please also indicate progress. So it's great, as Isabel, thanks for those inputs, indicated that you can state you're getting funding from NFVF, X amount, or you have applied. You just need to really indicate which one has been secured, progress in terms of expected outcome, because we, as the GFC, are indicating the callers now will be communicating in 30 days, which should be by end of November, and you already can give the other sponsors also an idea as to when the GFC outcome is, and we also expect that. Then in terms of, I think there was a gentleman who spoke about the new and people with experience. We are looking at having categories for obviously our emerging and up and coming, which are specifically for them. We do have a category for that currently, but it is, it's quite broad. Some people are emerging for a number of years. Some people have been in the middle tier for a number of years. We need to be able to also now say those who are student or who've just graduated as students, it's their first film, they can prove that, their age is there, then we are able to consider, but we are looking to really safeguard and have more funds for that. Now, I'm not sure if we're gonna do, before I do the thanks, what's the plan in terms of, can I give thanks to our stakeholders, or do you want to have maybe just a few interactive for the? That's fine. So we still have some time? Oh, okay. No, I thought maybe. Okay. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I know that a lot of you were very keen on the compliance thing, and apologies that we spend a little bit more time on the elements. But I hope that we've covered most of what you needed. But in terms of the application process, can I just check, is everybody registered? Is everyone familiar with the registration in the grant system? Is there anyone that's not familiar with the grant system that needs help with the grant system?
Show of hands.
Everyone is covered.
Oh, there's a hand.
There's one, okay. I'll
Afterwards.
assist you after this. And then is everyone familiar with the funding guideline? This is a document that tells you the different tiers of application and how much is for which category. Is everyone familiar with that? Is there anyone that's not familiar with that?
One, guys, that's why we're here.
Okay, so there's only the one lady and
Or
the other
two.
one that I helped.
One,
So
two,
can you guys
three.
see me after this? Everyone that is a problem with the grant, the categories and whatnot, please just see me after this. And then I just want to quickly, lunch is at 1:30, guys, we're heading for your close. Before I move to the second last item, is there anything else that you would like us to cover that we are with regards to compliance?
Mine is not,
Yeah, please.
mine
Oh,
is
they-
not compliance. No?
There.
So on the cap here, I saw there's one that says short film fictional documentary 180. And then on we get there, it says 130, it doesn't 181.
Okay, so please, the funding guideline gets updated every year. The reason why we update it every year is because we only know our budget at the beginning of our year. And also, on top of that, we also adjust our targets every year. So I was mentioning that we've introduced a new category. So obviously, if you introduce a new incubation category based on the feedback that we've got from you, it automatically adjusts other categories. So if maybe we were giving 150 for marketing and distribution, but now we've introduced another category that's emerging marketing and distribution, that money, it's gonna come from the same 150, you see, so it alters the budget. So that is why we encourage that this is a guideline that shows you our categories and everything. This was printed last year. But before you apply, you would notice that when you go into the system, before you apply, it forces you to read the funding guideline. Have you guys noticed that? Download that document, familiarize yourself with that document, because that's telling you the latest targets and how much each tier is budgeted for.
Yes.
Is that clear? Would you like to add something?
Yes. No, thanks for that. Actually, one of the other filmmakers left just a few minutes ago, and they were asking about festival attendance. So I was indicating to them that as well as an older pamphlet, which just gives an overview of the GFC programs and the. But in terms of the outputs, Nana has covered it. The other one also that's new is animation. So first attendance, that used to be just on our op. Now we've elevated it because there's a high demand for it. Animation, it was part of the usual production feature films and so on. Now we've also separated it to have its own, so that indeed we're not, we can compare apples and apples. I think that is indeed the key elements, but thanks for picking that up, and we are mindful of it, and I think the guideline and our website are the places to go. Thanks.
We covered my colleagues except for the three. Okay. Lastly, so I'd just like to introduce our executive.
CSD. Okay.
Sorry, am I missing something? Please put your hand up so
I think.
Yes, guys, we are joined by our executive members, our locations and permits. Ms. Priscilla Bulwani, if you can please stand, so that those of you that have questions around locations, permits, afterwards, please, she's the one. I think when you go to our website to apply for permit, you will see that it's got Priscilla Bulwani there. Yeah? So you can finally speak to her face to face. Then at the back, we've got Mr. Figamate, who's our acting corporate services executive. If he can please stand, to welcome him. So he deals with our recruitment issues. Why I'm introducing him is because you know that we also have an internship program that we run, which is a recruitment program that we open every year. And we were talking about young people. Some of the questions were about, the entrance. So he's the one who runs with that program. So if you have any questions about that, after that, please, you can link yourself up. We'll be here for that. Then I saw our CFO, Mr. Elliot Naluleka, at the back. Please, welcome him. So he's the guy who will, because we are so eager to find, will send your text and say, no, this guy is compliant. He's the one who say, no. This one is not compliant because of that reason. So please, if you have any challenges or any, very intricate questions, like you heard some of the answers Stefan was saying that this is a CSE question. Some of the questions are SARS questions that we can answer, but we can attempt to assist you with some of your SARS questions or your compliance questions, very, very specific ones. Is that okay, guys? Thank you so much. Then lastly, please, you saw when you came in, we have a register there by the door, by the entrance. If you have not registered there, please can you make sure that you go and register, put accurate details so that next time when we do other activities like this in the province or in your corridor, we can make sure that we communicate with you in a more sustainable manner. We then have, if you go to our website, you would have seen something that we call the one-stop film service. We are encouraging filmmakers, if you are in wardrobe, if you are in production, if you are an actor, if you are a scriptwriter, we are developing a database there where if anybody needs a filming service, whether it's accommodation or whatever, or transport in Gauteng, when they go into that service, they can access your business. So it's a free marketing tool that we provided for filmmakers. I was talking to a young lady, I don't know if she's still here, who says she works with Beats. And I was saying to her, go into the one-stop film service and advertise your business there as a wardrobe manager or as a costume designer, because being Gauteng, a lot of international filmmakers, when they try to come into the country to film in Gauteng, we are the first they come to, and then Priscilla is the next person that they go to. So when they go to Priscilla to ask for locations, they will automatically also ask her, where can I get a wardrobe? Where can I get this and this? She's the person that will be referring. And most of the time, because we offloading that work of her, of referring one by one, she will send them to the one-stop shop film service. So please make sure you've registered yourselves there, put pictures there, make sure you make your business as attractive as possible in the one-stop film service. And then finally, we have a tech hub, which I'm hoping we can partner with Animation SA, which is where we will be encouraging more tech work and where we can collaborate as tech lovers and tech-driven filmmakers. So finally, Mike, I don't know if you still want to do closing remarks before we thank our guests.
Yes.
You still like it?
It's going to be in one. I'm just going to. No, thanks, Nana. Thanks to all the speakers that have come through. Isabel, indeed, you've shared some great insights in terms of the animation and gaming space and other opportunities, but also more importantly, what are the do's and don'ts? I think some of the key insights, and I think the incubation element is also very important. To Sis Nambita, you've indeed come through and shared again from the heart, and I think you did explain as to why we are working with yourselves. I think it's that the GFC works close to various industry bodies, and Saga is one of them. Speaking of other organizations that were also due to come, I think from the poster you would have seen that we had FPB, Film and Publication Board. They are also important, and I think in the next session, which will be in the West Rand, and that's why I felt it's important for us to also communicate this so that those who are not able to come today, and there's different organizations that I see today, various creative organizations. You can please share with your members that there will be a session happening before the end of October, so next week in the West Rand. So please look out for that communication on our website and as well as on our social media. And really, the Film and Publication Board is important for those who are doing public screenings. You've got to ensure that when you're doing a festival, a holiday program, you've got young kids, or you've got content that you think is applicable for young kids, it needs classified. So they were going to come and talk and about those insights as to, again, do's and don'ts, the process. So they're available for the next session, and sure that if you are one of those creatives who wants to show their or showcase content in a public forum, you are indeed compliant. I think we spoke briefly about the incubation program, and I think it's important to also indicate that we've had a call about our creative incubation program, where we're seeking to have about 20 digital entrepreneurs, those who are interested in creating online stores and content, short content for the social platforms. And, we're looking to have quite a lot of applications for that. But there will be Isabel, thanks for sharing. Is it the SAIS, the other incubation that's taking place at the Constitutional? So there are various opportunities, colleagues, and that's what we are really here to do. And once again, thank you for your participation. And I'd like to hand over back to Nana to share some of the with our speakers, in case they have got to go. Lunch is going to be served shortly. It is 1:30, and thank you for your patience. Thank you for your participation, and looking forward to having a lot more occasions from the Tshwane region, and especially from yourselves if you're just outside of Tshwane. So please do engage us, do apply on time, and be compliant. Thank you. Over to you, Nana.
Thank you so much.
Nonegere, anything for those who ask questions? Yeah. Are we going to be giving t-shirts for those who gave answers? What is the outcome?
Thank you so much. Please don't leave, Mac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Please, we'd like to say a small token of thanks. Please, Ma'am Nangita, this is a small token of thanks from us. Thank you, Tepan. This is illegal. I hope you're going to declare this because you are part of the family, but thank you for the effort and putting the presentation together. Thank you so much. And all the work you do on that grant system.
Thanks a lot.
So thank you very much. Apparently lunch is going to be served where we had our breakfast. And if there's nothing else you'd like to add, a million times. The closing date, we all know the closing date. Trick question? It's so silent. Yeah.
So we do also have some gifts for you as well, guys. If we just ask that after lunch, if we can just collect your thank you gift for your attendance. But from the bottom of my heart and from the GFC and the rest of our team members that are here, Fadu, Mzwa, Charles, Kingsley, the entire comms team, God bless. Thank you. Thank you, my dear.
Let me just switch it off.